here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. At last, we are back on the air. Had a few cancellations. It is just a crazy time, and it's a great time because we have an incredible guest on tonight. His name is Steve Anderson, a very accomplished coach, mentor, businessman, and I can't wait for you to meet him. And I am going to extract his brilliance from his big, beautiful brain so that you can simply take notes and then take action. What does that mean? Model people who have attained success. And Steve is one of those gentlemen that you will want to take copious notes on. So definitely get out that pen, get out that paper. I'm going to be taking notes and I'm running this whole thing. So if I'm doing it, there's no reason you can't be doing it as well. That's my recommendation. And this is a show, the Mind Body Business Show is a show that I had put together with you in mind. And that is the entrepreneur, the business person that's looking to take their business to the next level. Whether you haven't started your own business or you've just started, or you've been doing it for several years, or you've been doing it for 20 years. This show has something for everybody in every phase of their journey of entrepreneurship, of business ownership. And I know that from doing this show now for over 5 years. And what I do is I interview successful entrepreneurs from all over the world. And Steve Anderson is joining us tonight, literally from Tokyo, Japan. It's 5:30 p.m. here in Florida, where I am. It's 6:30 a.m. the next day in Tokyo, where he is right now. So we are literally time traveling into tomorrow when we bring him on. Pretty awesome, huh? What other show can you do time travel? Come on. So the Mind Body Business Show it's about what I call the 3 pillars of success. These pillars came about by the fact that over a period of, I would say, about a decade, I just focused on successful people and really analyzed and studied them. What makes them more successful than me at that time? It's like, do they, when they put on their pants, do they run and jump and land in their pants, both feet at the same time? That's different than I do. I mean, what makes them more successful? It's got to be some magic trick. And what I learned, that there's no magic to it at all whatsoever. It came down to the 3 pillars of success, that these 3 elements were what I found in common with each and every one of these successful individuals. These 3 pillars, these 3 elements, are the very namesake of this show. Mind, that is all about mindset. To a person, these very successful individuals had developed a very powerful, a very positive, we've all heard of those 2, and the most important of these is a very flexible mindset. Steve Anderson epitomizes every one of those. I know this already because of what he's done just to be on this show. And then body. Body is all about literally taking care of yourself, both nutritionally and through moving your body. Exercise. I know exercise, people go, but moving your body, that's a little bit easier to take, isn't it? And then there's business. Business is so wonderful. It's amazing. It is so multifaceted. And in that, I found that these successful individuals had done what was necessary to master the various skill sets that are necessary to build a successful business, to then grow it and scale it. Skill sets like marketing, sales, team building, systematizing, leadership. I could go on for quite some time. There are a lot of them. And you're probably going, oh my gosh, Brian, there's no way in this lifetime I could master all of those, because mastering any one skill set can take a very, very long time. And to that end, I have great news for you. You don't have to. You can leverage one single skill set. If you were just to concentrate and focus on that one skill set that I will reveal here in a moment, if you want me to, and if you were just to focus on this one skill set, you can use that as you are getting to the point of mastering it. You don't even have to master it completely yet. While you're getting to that point, you can leverage it to then bring people in that have or are currently mastering their specific skill sets like sales, marketing, team building, the things that maybe perhaps you shouldn't be spending your time doing. And that one skill set, if you were to concentrate on it, focus on it, doesn't mean neglect all the other ones. You still need them all, but focus mostly on this one skill set. Then that's basically the key to success. And that is the skill set of, are you ready for it? Drum roll. Leadership. That's right. If you really focus on leadership, I can see Steve Anderson in the green room and he's nodding emphatically. He understands this back, inside, and out. And once look, you don't even have to have a team right now. You could be a solopreneur. Practice the art of leading yourself as if you were one of your own VAs or employees. What kind of culture do you want to establish in your business? What positive culture? I've been through so many different kinds. Negative never wins out, ever, ever, ever. And there are books on this subject, many books. I recommend you read them all. Literally, read as many as you can get your hands on by people who have actually been successful. So that will be the end of that for this show, because I want to bring on Steve here in just a moment. Before I do, another fantastic attribute of the very successful people that I've met is and studied is that they are also very avid readers of books. And so with that, I want to segue very quickly and briefly into a little segment I affectionately call Bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
All right, there you see it, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Please write that URL down. Do not, please, for your own good, please do not click another tab, open it up and type it in and go look at it while the show is going on. And I say that regarding all resources that are going to be divulged on this very show. We always have several resources. It may be books that are recommended. It may be other websites. And as that is going on during the show, I implore upon you for yourself to write them down. And then after the show is over, then go research, study, and look into those resources. Why do I say that? I've spoke on stage for years. And in the very beginning of my career on stage, I noticed I'd be talking. I'm getting to that juicy part. You know, people have been sitting there for a while now. And I'm getting to the crescendo, the part that's going to potentially change their lives. And I see someone get up and leave the room. And I'm like, oh, no, they're going to miss the best part for them. Not for me, for them. They either had to go to the bathroom or they got that all-important text message or phone call and they had to run outside. I'm like, oh, no. So I learned from that to tell you, the magic happens in the room. This is a virtual room. That means stay focused on Steve Anderson. I know, when are you bringing him on, Brian? Very soon. Steve Anderson's coming on in just a moment. And please, for yourself, take notes all the way through and then visit the resources after the show is over. In fact, we have a phenomenal prize to give away, and you'll take that URL down and not enter to win until after the show, until we close it off, because we will still be monitoring. So please do that for yourself. So I don't want you to miss one golden nugget from Steve Anderson. He could be talking, you're off studying, you go, oh God, I just missed that. What was that? Oh, it's just only the one thing that could have potentially changed your life for the better forever, but that's no big deal. So please don't do that. All right. Reach Your Peak Library is a website that I had assembled, and I have my team keep adding books. I myself was not an avid reader till the age of 47, 13 years ago. I always do a dramatic pause so you can do the math. Yes, I just turned 60 and I'm proud of it. It's a victory. I love it. The big 6-0. And so I have put in here, I've had my team drop in the books that I have read since that time, since age 47. And I'm way behind on getting this populated. There are many more in here, but you'll find quite a few. These are books that have had a profound impact on me, either personally, professionally, or both, mostly both. And they're in no rhyme or reason. And just scroll through it, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Find the one that really talks to you, speaks to you. Look at the cover, look at the quick description. And look, don't even buy it on this website. If you like to get your books at Barnes & Noble or some other brick and mortar or even another website, just take the title over there and search and buy it there. That's not what the purpose of this website is. It's not here to make money for Brian at all. It's here to give you a resource. This is for you, my gift to you. And at least you can read books that are vetted by at least one other successful entrepreneur. That way your odds of wasting your time are greatly diminished. I am all about efficiency. Ask anybody that knows me really well. That's what drives me, is efficiency. So that's reachyourpeaklibrary.com. Enough about that. It is time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this finally at last. Let's bring on the amazing Steve Anderson.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it is the one, the only Steve Anderson. Woohoo!
Hey, Brian.
Man, how are you doing, Steve? You're an amazing gentleman. I'm just loving to get to know you right before the show. Have we met ever before, say, half hour ago, 30, 45, 40 minutes ago?
No, we haven't. And I've been looking forward to getting to know you too. So let's do it.
And the amazing thing I found doing this show now for nearly 5 years, I rarely have met the guest that's on my show ever before. And we meet 30 minutes before the show goes live. I get to know individuals, and I can tell really quickly the ones that are up here, the upper echelon. And Steve is one of those, definitely. Many are. I rarely have anybody that I don't resonate with. It's amazing how this has transpired. And Steve, you resonate with me on so many fronts. You have impeccable character, integrity. You have results, and you're sharing those results. You have a heart, a serving heart. You're trying to do things in Japan to help that entire culture that they desperately need. And we're going to get into that. I know that was a big tease, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So before we dive in, if you don't mind, Steve, I'd like to give you the introduction you deserve because you wrote it. It's pretty awesome. And let people know just a little bit about your background. It will be very quick. Would that be cool with you?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks.
All right. Steve, listen to this, everybody. He is an Olympic gold and bronze medal coach. He's won 2 different medals as a coach in the Olympics. That's up there. The first African-American to head coach an Olympic volleyball team. He's a holistic high-performance expert, social entrepreneur, navigator for R3I Ventures, transformational speaker, author, and a proud father. Ooh, I like that last part too. Me too. So with that, everyone, officially, formally, please join me in welcoming Mr. Steve Anderson. I love that name because of the Matrix, Mr. Anderson. I love the way you said that. So I'm sure that's never happened to you. No one's ever said that before like that. Steve, how are you doing, brother? I mean, you have a great backstory. Like you went through some interesting hoops in your life where how you ended up where you are in the field of sports, specifically with beach volleyball. If you want to start before that, by all means. But you and I share close to the same birthday. That's also awesome. You have a lot of life experience to share with people. So if you don't mind, can you give us a bit of your backstory and where it started and where, all the way up to where you are right now? Would that be cool?
That's Brian. I appreciate that because people, they see your accomplishments and they get to meet you where you are now, but they don't know what happened with the backstory behind the scenes. So I think it's always powerful when you actually learn about the person, not just their accomplishments, and then you really get to see the journey. So I appreciate you actually asking me to do this. And it's really weird because I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. Anybody who knows Kentucky knows there's no beaches in Kentucky. We have the Ohio River, And so, like you say, our birthdays are close together. I'll be 60 this month, September 27th. And so I grew up in Kentucky, had never seen the beach before, had never seen the ocean before. I moved to LA in 1985. I was just for my 21st birthday. And now here we are, 5 Olympic Games later, 2 Olympic medals in beach volleyball, which is my sport. And it sets the whole foundation for my story. There's lots to my story leading up to me being 21. But with beach volleyball, moving to LA, coming from Kentucky, the wrong place. I'm a 5'10" black guy, I'm 60 years old. So the wrong place, wrong background, all this sort of stuff. And then I try to break into this sport because I'd seen it on television. I had no clue, had no clue about it. And all the challenges of anybody who's done something and been the first at anything, it's very difficult when you can't see someone who looks like you, who sounds like you. And this, I just happen to be a black guy from Kentucky. This doesn't matter if you're white, green, purple, male, female, how old you are. I've met and worked with people who come from very successful families, and they've had all the advantages in the world, but the pressure of having parents who are so accomplished, and then you trying to live in that shadow. So it doesn't matter what your background is. We all have our challenges. And so that's really my story, is how I had to face my own demons and enter into a world that I knew nothing about at the age of 21, and really had to build my success. It wasn't, something that's going to be given to you. It wasn't welcoming initially. Because beach volleyball in the 80s was very territorial in California. You lived in California, it was like surfing. It's very territorial. And it just felt foreign to me. So I really had to find my feet. I ended up playing on the AVP part-time. I was an associate member with the Association of Volleyball Professionals. I coached on the Women's Pro Tour when it was the WPVA, the Women's Professional Volleyball Association. And now here we are, 34 years later. I've traveled the world. I'm in Tokyo, Japan now. I got to work with their national team in the Olympic program. And this is the thing I love to do, is really help people contribute their gifts into the world, achieve success, not just achievement, because you can destroy yourself and achieve a lot. But what is real success? There is achievement, but it has to be holistic. Otherwise, you implode or explode. And that's been my personal story. So I've been blessed. And now, my life's about helping other people build success for themselves.
And I love about your, the way you talk about success. It's not just money. It's not just fame. It's also taking care of yourself for the longer term. And you were talking about it earlier, like you're in Japan and their culture is transitioning. I didn't even know this, from what it used to be, or at least maybe it still is, but less so, of a bunch of people who are workaholics and worked insane hours to the point where their health was horrible. And many alcoholics arose from that because there just was no time to live, and they're stressed out all the time. So what is it you plan to do, you hope to do now that you're in Tokyo, and why were you brought there? You were asked to come there, correct?
I reached out, and it just so happened that they're ready. They're ready for me, and I'm ready for Japan. And it was about 20 years ago or so, there was an opportunity for me to come work with the Japanese national team, and I just didn't see the fit. I really didn't see the fit. But now, just over half of Japan's population is 60 or older.
Wow.
And there's this new generation of leadership that's coming through. These 35, 20-something entrepreneurs just before 40. They don't want this work and die at your desk, culture that really helped lift Japan out of the war era into, economic and success and global success. But Japan's been internally focused for a long time. And now you've got this new generation of leadership and this new focus with Japan to get back onto the international stage, but they don't want to do it the way they did it. Problem is, there's a gap. And that problem is also the opportunity. Is what is the new Japan going to look like? Who's going to be building it? Who's going to be driving it? And I've always used, sport, business, music. We used to have a record label and entertainment company. So whatever vehicle is available to you, you can model and create excellence. And when you do that, you create a platform for yourself. And when you have a platform, you can influence. So it doesn't matter if you pick up sticks or whatever you do. If you do it with excellence, you get people's attention. You create a platform. And so I've always used sport as a platform to model excellence. And, how can we make an impact in the world? So that's what I want to do here in Japan, is through the beach volleyball program. How can we model what the new leadership looks like, what excellence looks like? And I'm convinced that it has to be holistic if it's going to be sustainable and scalable. And, if it's going to be real success, not just achievement. And a lot of people achieve things and kill off their life. They destroy their family, they destroy their health, all for the sake of achieving a result. Success, you have achievement, but you also have to have the other parts of life have to be healthy. It has to be done in a holistic way. Otherwise, you implode or explode in time, and that's not success. It's achievement, but it's not success.
Yeah, I mean, success can't be success if you can't enjoy it. I mean, that's part of it, the enjoyment of it. And I think even a lot of Americans lose that sight of that, or especially, I know when I was younger, I was just looking for the money, the cars, the houses, and all that stuff. And that was in my focus, but never what it would cost me to get there or what I needed to do so it wouldn't cost me to get there. So it was like one of those things in hindsight. I'm curious because you now you've gone to the Olympics 5 times as a coach. You've come away with 2 medals, one of them gold, one of them bronze. And I'm curious, I understand being a former athlete, I never played pro, but I love sports. I played in high school. And that is, I understand it takes a certain amount of physical training, physical ability. What I don't think a lot of people who have not ever been in athletics don't realize is how much is mental in the sport. And, those that really excel, there's 2 that come to the top of my mind, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, that had the mental side dialed in. For you, when you saw and brought these teams of volleyball up to success, the pinnacle being the gold medal, what were the attributes you focused on or that you examined and noticed that made them gold medal teams versus the other teams that you would work with when it came to how they operated outside of the physical realm, but from their mental internal realm?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, man. I've got these tools and systems that I've created through my journey, and one of them is this triangle for success. And there's 5 components, but the 5th one's kind of hidden. It's an X factor. And the first one is physical. The second one is technical. Then is mental. And then above the mental is self-management. And I see people progressing that, through that sort of pathway. With our sport, we're not a catch control sport. We're a rebound sport like tennis, golf. We don't get to grab the ball or dribble it. So you have to do the math. So the foundation for our sport is technical, then physical. But then it becomes mental or strategic. And then that last piece of self-management. And that's the way I look at business people. It's the way I look at sports people. Anybody who does high performance, they go through this journey. And what they find is, look at it this way. You get a champion and an underachiever. They start in the same place. Someone with amazing talent. The difference is the champion realizes the benefit and the importance of being a technician, being a student of whatever their craft is. The underachiever leans on talent. They never become a student. They never become a master of the craft. They're always relying on their ability, whether it's physical, mental memory, it could be anything, but it's their talent. Talent will get you to the door. It may get a foot in, but it won't keep you there. So you got to have the technical and the physical. And talking about Michael Jordan, he went on this journey. He was undersized a little bit. He grew later. So what did he learn? He learned work ethic. He became a technician, and he realized he needed to be a master of his craft. Then he grew into that Michael Jordan physical body and performance we know, and that elevated him to the next level, and it put him above the other people who just had talent, and technical pieces. The last piece is self-management. I'm going to leave that to last because you talked about leadership before we got on, and leading yourself is the first part of that. That's what the whole self-management piece is about. Most people can't do the high performance journey because they don't scale with their own success. As their life gets bigger, they want to stay the same. You can't stay the same. You got to get more tools, and you have to scale with your success, or you implode. You mentally, emotionally can't handle it, or you explode. Your ego and everything else gets a hold of you, and you literally explode. You blow everything up if you don't scale, if you don't grow with your success. The one bit I didn't talk about was strategy, the strategic piece, which is where the mental comes in. So it's physical, technical, strategy or mental, then self-management, which is part of that mental emotional on top. The strategic piece, my philosophy is you win with strategy. And strategy for me is the right play, the right person, the right time. When you get all three of those things, when you get the right play, the right plan, and you get the right people to deliver that plan, and then you use that plan with the right timing, you get amazing high performance results. If you get two or one of those components right, you're ahead of most people. You get a great plan, but you don't have the right people to deliver it. It'll still get you results, but it's not going to get you the same results as if you have the right people to deliver it, or in a competitive situation. If I'm trying to exploit someone's weakness with, in a match, if I'm trying to serve them, but right now they're on fire, this plan's not going to work. Leave it 5 minutes. Then the timing's right. They start to become a little, now the plan will work. So you got to get the timing right. You got to make sure the right people or the right target is in place. If it's marketing or whatever else, it's my target, my demographic, right? Whatever it is, you got to get those three things in alignment. And then you have strategy. You have great strategy. And so you win with strategy. Your technical skills are the tools you use to execute strategy. So you can have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have the knowledge and tools to be able to execute that strategy, again, it's not going to be effective. So with this triangle, all these things work together, and they're actually are the way people actually develop. In the physical, I love the way you have the mind body business, because that is what makes a professional athlete versus an amateur athlete. Mm. Most people can get the on court mind together, they can get the body together, and they'll have an amazing sporting career, but they never develop the business of sport. And so as soon as they finish, and the numbers are horrible in our sports in the state, it's like 70 some odd % of NFL athletes after career, like within 5 years, they're in financial difficulty, and it's plus 58, 56%, something like. These are older numbers, but it's still around that, around that percentage of NBA and Major League Baseball. So let's just call it 50%. Around 50% of professional athletes are in financial difficulty, 5 years after they stop their sport, because they get this big lifestyle and they got the money, but they don't get told that the income stops the day you stop, but not the lifestyle. Right. So 5 years later, they implode or explode because they don't have any transferable skills. No one's ever advised them about being, doing this journey in a holistic manner. It's all been about right now, performance now, which you can do. You can have achievement now, but if it's not sustainable and if it's not scalable, it's not high performance. It's high achievement, not high performance. High performance has to be sustainable and scalable.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and it's sad that that statistic is there, and I've heard this for years about how former professional athletes self-sabotage their wealth, and it's unfortunate. It just takes some education, and it takes mastering a different set of skills, not just a skill that they had not been put in front of before, and so they need to be nurtured while they're going through their pro career. I remember one of the best businessmen that came out of the NBA that I can't think of anyone that did better and more successful was Magic Johnson. And he's still crushing it. He's co-owner of the Dodgers. I don't know if he still is. I think he had ownership in the Lakers for a time. I don't know if he still does, but it's not just sports that he got involved in. He's got all these organizations, and he's multifaceted, and he understood it. He got good. Either he got good coaching or mentorship, or he just knew that was what he needed to be prepared for. So that's one, that would be an individual that should come back and tutor and mentor today's athletes, just as one person. Maybe he does that. I don't know. But I'm curious, you are a very successful coach in your own right. You are a mentor and a coach to all the players that you have brought up. Who coached and mentored you? Did you have any coaches or mentors that actually had a big impact in your life that helped you down this path?
I have so many influential people in my life, both male and female, who were role models. Um, Interesting enough, volleyball, my first volleyball role model was a woman named Flo Hyman,
I
who
know
was,
that name.
she was on the U.S. indoor volleyball team. And she actually, unfortunately, she actually passed away
Oh,
on the court. Had like a heart, something with her heart. And it was devastating. It was devastating.
wow.
But Flo was a woman of color. So for me to see a black woman playing for the U.S. national team, who was one of the world's best, I mean, it was just a role model of excellence, and just her character and the way that other people, the impact and impression that she made on other people. That was the thing. You see a lot of people with, they get a lot of high achievement, they do really well in sport, and they're so self-centric and self-focused, and you got to have a healthy ego to get off the couch and do stuff. But sometimes that ego takes you over because people don't prepare for success. We know how to chase it and we strive for success, but what happens once you get there? People think you arrived. Literally what happens is just this whole nother door of opportunity, responsibility, pressure, all this stuff just opens up that you would never experience if you didn't have that level of achievement. And because most people, survival is our first instinct. It's the thing that we learn. We stay in the crowd. So most people don't put themselves out there and really try to maximize their talent and put their gifts into the world. It's more, let's get a job and stay comfortable and make sure our family's safe. That's more what we do as human beings. But when you put yourself out there, you become a target, because it's not comfortable for people to see someone lead the herd and dare to, and it takes ego. But a lot of times that ego overtakes people because they haven't mentally, emotionally prepared for success. And power and money unmask the person. If you're a jerk of a person, this is true. They unmask. If you're a jerk of a person, but you have a job or you don't feel like you have any leverage, you might appear to be a pretty nice person or a loving, caring person because you have to. You're dependent on other people for your opportunities and everything else. But give someone all the money they can spend and give them a position of leverage where they influence other people's lives. And what ends up happening when you're a high performer, other people want to leverage off you, so they will give their power over to you. They will do things to get next to you or impress you or get into your favor. And you have to really be grounded not to take advantage of that and misuse it. So whoever you are, once you no longer are beholden to other people and you take that, that mask off, who's under there now has all this money and all this leverage and influence. What will you do with it?
Yeah.
And so people just don't prepare for the responsibility and the pressure that comes with high achievement and success. You don't arrive, all these opportunities open up, and you want to prepare for them so you can maximize them and use them well. They don't destroy you.
And yeah, and for folks that are watching or listening, just know that everything Steve is talking about is directly applicable to business and growing a business. Every bit of it. Ego. Oh my gosh, I've never heard it said that way. Power and money unmask the person. I've taught this from stage that money amplifies who you already are, either lack of it or abundance of it. So if you're already a jerk, like you just said, but you look like you're nice, but if you have money, you're going to be more and more of a jerk. And if you're a wonderful person, you'll be like just an amazing person, more so, and do good in the world for everyone else. And so it's true. And so, when would now be the right time for everyone to right their ship of their inner mind and get someone like Steve in their corner? Now, Steve, do you have any kind of coaching program in addition to what you're embarking on in Tokyo, which is a huge undertaking in its own right? What do you have going on for Steve Anderson that would, if anything, that would help the general public that says, Steve, I want some help? Do you have anything offered for those types of people?
I do. So my life mission program is called the Champions Map. And I used to have a business with a business partner named Selena Scoble called Champions Toolbox. And this is what we did. And we worked with entrepreneurs, executives, and it's a high performance system. Because here's the thing, when we start talking about life balance with high performers, we lose them because they know there is no balance. There is no life balance with high achievement. It's demanding. Oftentimes you're obsessed. Balance is not reasonable. But harmony, life harmony is. As a matter of fact, life harmony is essential. If you don't have life harmony, what ends up happening is this long-term losing. You get short-term like performance, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. But with every success, you realize that the hole that's in you, that's driving you to be so obsessive, isn't being filled by some external thing. So if it's love, if it's belonging, if it's my thing was worthiness. My dad died when I was 9 years old, and I had this story of I don't know how to be a man in the world because my father wasn't here to teach me. Now that story is great for a 9-year-old because now as a 9-year-old, I don't have to take responsibility for being an adult. That's the 9-year-old child shouldn't have to be an adult. But as a 21-year-old, as a 24-year-old, as a 27-year-old, and 27 is when I finally recognized this and got rid of this belief system, was, it protected me as a 9-year-old, but as a 27-year-old, it was a lie. And at some point, I heard Dr. John Gray say this many years ago. He said that, as a child, the story's true and it's valid. But at some point, as an adult, it's no longer our story. We don't need it anymore.
Right.
And that's what I realized at 27, that, I look back at all these amazing mentors and people who would help me along my journey. There's so many people. One that got me out of Kentucky, Daniel Zink, who, told me to go to California and pursue my dreams when I was making 40 grand as a 19, 20-year-old, working with him and his company, and working for his dad, and had this pathway where I was going to make a lot of money and retire before I was in my 40s. And he said, go live your dream. Money will be there, but if this is something that you're really passionate about, go to California and live your dream. And he had done so many wonderful things before, and he was trying to, he was grooming me to be a partner in his business. And it really amazed me. Here was a man, it hurt his business because I worked with him for about 3 or 4 years, and it's a business called Action Systems. And I'd worked with him, and we built up this, I would earn my partnership, and I was a valuable asset to the business. And he said, go. This selfless act, and just showed me what leadership looked like, what love looked like, and maturity, really. So you asked me, what do I look for in athletes? It's who can do this journey. Who has and it's not just the sport, who can do the business of sport. A lot of people can do well in sport, but they can't do the business of sport. So what they build isn't sustainable or scalable.
Right.
And they end up either what you said, they end up sabotaging. And we do this in business all the time. When we start to lose our peer group because the people around us are uncomfortable with our success, jealousy, resentment. When you go into a company and you raise the standard, all the people who are comfortable with the current standard, they don't want to do more. So you think you're doing the company a favor by raising the performance standard, and all the people who want the standard to stay the same because they know they can meet that standard and the new standard scares them, they don't like you and they don't want to see you be successful. There's so many reasons why people want to force other people to stay in the herd. Think like me, act like me, be like me is survival.
Yeah.
We can all survive. And anytime someone drops too low, they threaten the herd. Anytime someone reaches for, excellence, they potentially threaten the herd because now everyone has to adapt. And so it's not personal. I mean, it is personal because it's you. It's coming after you. But it literally is this group think survival instinct that we groomed. It's our lizard brain saying, survive, 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 stay normal, stay in the group, let's work together. There's thousands and thousands of years of developing this behavior. And yeah, excellence really isn't a great survival strategy.
Yeah, and there's oftentimes I notice jealousy and envy that play into that as well. That they want to hold you back because they're seeing you succeed now, and like, wait a minute, I don't want to get out of my comfort zone and do what you're doing. So I want to keep you where I am at and stay comfortable. And I want you to be here with me because they just get crazy with jealousy and envy, and they try to hold. And that's interesting. I've been through a lot of training myself. I've been through mentors and coaches, and one thing that surfaced to the top at the time I needed it most was it's okay to fire your friends. And that's
Yeah,
those that are doing just that, holding you down, they're your friends. They don't overtly mean to do it. They like you or they love you, but
yeah,
what the result is not good for what you're doing. You can and I've done this. I don't go, you're fired, but I have basically
yeah,
just distanced myself from several who had that trait, that characteristic, and given many opportunities to change and say, hey, I'm doing this. Why don't you just do it with me? How about that?
yeah,
And
yeah.
no, you just shouldn't. They would give you that anti. So have you ever encountered that, or have you known people that have encountered that? And if it was you, what was your response? I mean, have you had to let go of certain relationships that were holding you back in the past?
Yes, yes, yes. All of that, all of those. So I do a lot of work with companies in holistic high performance. And I actually got introduced to this. A good friend of mine worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers in their business development section. A good buddy of mine, Alistair, and he told me when they go in, the first thing they do is look for the sniper, the person who's going to try to, undermine the
Gotcha.
change. And so what I've turned that into, and I already had this concept, but when I connected it to the sniper, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So when you're doing change management, you've got champions and you've got champions. Yeah.
I
And
love
the
it.
chumps, this is real deal. The champions, I used to really get upset because growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, so I was born in 1964 in Louisville, and we were a factory town. We had GE, we had Ford, we had all Philip Morris, we had all these factory towns or factories. And so you could get a factory job where you could work for 30 years. You could put your kids through school. You could finally pay your house. You could have the American dream, a great life, middle class life. And then all the factories left. And then at one point, we had people with college degrees, master's degrees, competing for minimum wage jobs with people with high school education. Like it was pretty devastating what happened. And so then you had this whole like shift. And man, you know what? I'm just having deja vu's right now, thinking back about this shift. It's devastating. And I'm like some of the people who are going through, like when you're building a company and your company's going through stages, it'll be just like this. The mom pop stage where you're building and you can micromanage and manage people and know what's going on in the business. And then it levels up. And we do this with R3I when, we don't necessarily work with startups, we work with people in scale up, most end up. But when your business is ready to scale and shift, you're not, you become the problem. You're the chump. Yeah. And so this here goes back to the leadership. If you can't delegate, and dumping is not the same thing as delegating. If you can't lead leaders instead of leading followers, followers do what you say because they have to. Leaders don't need you, don't necessarily want to do what you say. They have to buy into the mission and see more benefit working with you than doing it on their own, which they are capable of doing. So leading leaders is totally different than leading followers. If you don't develop these skills and your business starts to scale, you try to hold it back. And so what I saw growing up in Kentucky was, it's welfare. People learn to depend on the state and all this sort of stuff because the opportunity, literally people with college degrees couldn't get jobs. This wasn't an accident. It was a tragedy. And so, people learned helplessness sort of thing, whereas depending on other people instead of being entrepreneurial, depending on yourself, that's not safe anyway. And so I would see people who, because they were afraid to aspire to anything different, once you get knocked down and you don't see more opportunities, there's a fear because we are all about survival, lizard brain, survival. And so it's not this, I don't want you to succeed, more than it is, I don't think I can succeed. And when I see you succeed, and then I compare myself, which is what we do, I feel so bad about myself, I can't be happy for you.
Yeah.
And so that's what's underneath the jealousy and the resentment. It's not this evil hate or whatever. It's the mirror I'm seeing is my failure through your success.
Yes.
And emotionally, people can't, instead of going, oh, wow, a model for success, let me emulate that and let me use that for my own benefit. Instead of doing that and teaming up, what I call team of champions, people go into this victim chump mode.
I love it.
Where they want to stay safe and alive and just maintain what they have, and it's justified because the possibilities look so bleak. They're like, I'm better just to stay here. Anybody who tries to lead the herd, we're not gonna let you do that.
Right.
We're not gonna let you do it.
So so you help. It sounds like you help other businesses that are ready to scale. Is that something you are currently passionate about doing and continuing to do that? What is your focus right now besides saving Japan, the entire country? What is your focus above and beyond that? Where you would, I shouldn't say above and beyond, just beyond that. Is there a focus or an entity that you're utilizing to bring in entrepreneurs and businesses to help them scale? Are you doing that currently?
Yeah, so this is the reason why I'm involved with R3I Ventures. Lisa Salud, who is just an amazing business person. She's one of the top risk management experts in the world, amongst other things. She's Australian, actually. I lived in Australia for 17 years and did 4 Olympics with the Australian Olympic team. And Lisa, who is our managing director for R3I, part of her goal is it's really about world peace. Now, what can create world peace more than anything else than having every person feeling empowered to contribute and live their gifts, to monetize it, to be able to create the life that they want, to be empowered to do that. And business is an amazing vehicle to empower yourself and empower your community. Yeah. So with R3I, it really is about using business to empower people and to empower communities. And what I guess the B side of that is, with Lisa being a female like executive and business owner, founder, is making resources available to other female founders. And because money's just not there for them. And, you're gonna get pregnant, so we can't entrust you with business, and you'll be too emotional. And like crazy people ideas that continue. And it's really about how do we meet people where they are, maximize their talents and abilities in team to create a great result for everyone. And so I use, R3I is one, sport, working with volleyball. I was working with Queensland University of Technology in Australia to build a holistic high performance. And that's the thing. My thing is holistic high performance. How are we going to do it and create harmony so it's sustainable and scalable? And so right now I'm actually rebranding myself. I was in Canada for 9 years. I was head coach for the Canadian national program from 2013, and now I'm coming back into the corporate world, and I'm rebranding myself. And as I say this, I have to pay attention because my day job is the Japan national team, and making sure that the Olympic program and building out the systems and the program, the pathways that can help the Japanese national program be successful, sustainable, and scalable. So those are, you talked about your pillars. I've got my 6 pillars and 4 cornerstones of the business that I've used with every business. And yeah, right now I'm looking for partners, for people who want to be part of my team of champions, who really want to make an impact in their personal life, in their community, in society. How we're going to team. Now we have AI and all this technology. Our mask is about to come off. If the mask comes off and we're villains, AI will be a villain. If the mask comes off and we're love and let's team and help each other, then AI will reflect that, because you're only going to program to do certain things. It's only going to witness and emulate certain things. But AI, with quantum computing,
Yes.
in the next 5 to 10 years, AI is going to look. When quantum computing meets AI, the world will be a different place.
Yeah.
Right now, we're just seeing AI, but wait till AI meets quantum computing. That's a
Yeah.
whole different planet. It's coming.
Yeah, that's a scary, exciting, so many emotions wrapped into one to think about what is coming. I guess the scary part is mostly the unknown. Don't know what it's going to end up being. And you just eloquently explained, we have a saying. I'm a former software engineer. We have a saying: garbage into the program, garbage input, then you get garbage out. So similar thing with AI is hopefully the developers have everyone's best interest in mind, because it's only going to it's going to grow exponentially in no time. And just like you're saying, the mask will come off and the AI mask will be coming off. And yeah, we just hope it's a beautiful thing behind that mask when it does. Let's just hope that and pray for that. And I love your whole team concept. You've said team numerous times, and that truly is, teamwork makes the dream work. A lot of people have heard that, but it's so true. One person can only do so much. And if you get a team and you've got a team that's marching in the same direction, that understands the mission and purpose and culture and agrees and aligns to it, then you have an unstoppable team. And it sounds like that's what you're developing. And that's what more businesses, organizations need. They need more Steve Andersons in their life to spread this experience that you've had. Because again, I'll say it for probably the 3rd time, you have coached, which is being a leader, is being a business owner, if you will, Olympic teams to great success. Bronze medal is great success. Becoming a coach of an Olympic team by itself is a great success, whether a medal was earned or not. It takes a different caliber of not just talent, but person to reach that. And I'm talking about you, Steve, because it's just one of the very few people on the planet could ever lay claim to, I coached in the Olympic Games. I don't care who you coached. I don't care if it was the smallest country that had 5 athletes. It doesn't matter. That means you did something special. You put in the blood, sweat, and tears. You did something that caught somebody's eye, and they saw the results you got from that. Results are the key. I mean, that's, if people don't have results, I would say to everyone out there, if you're looking at a mentor, to someone to mentor you, and they don't have the results that you wish to attain, then that's not your mentor. If they have the results you want to attain, like this guy over here, Steve Anderson, he might be your guy. I can't guarantee it, but without you reaching out to him, there's no way you'll know. And so with that, Steve, how can people get a hold of you to say, I want to see if we're a fit to go forward? And what kind of person are you looking for, once again, to help filter that, so they're not wasting your time and vice versa?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Brian. So like I said, I'm rebranding. The best way right now is through LinkedIn. I don't have my new website up yet. I've just moved to Japan. I'm in my hotel waiting for my apartment to be ready. So I still don't even have a home yet. And so LinkedIn is probably the best way right now to get in contact with me. And also my direct email, steveanderson.goals@gmail.com is my public email. So that's, I take you. There you go, man. Look at you. You got it going on here. The and I'm creating my Thrive YouTube channel. I got all this stuff as I rebrand, but it all keeps coming back to the same thing: team of champions. No one does anything by themselves.
That's right.
And in leadership, the first person you have to lead, I heard you say this before, is lead yourself.
Yeah.
And so my thing is helping people do the journey. This is why it's holistic high performance. You can get achievement, you can have all these things, but I'm telling you, as you level up, as your life levels up, as your business starts to scale up, you have to grow with it. And no one ever tells anyone this. We just talk about the results, the achievements, what you're going to have. No one says who you have to be to sustain and do this journey well. So that's my thing, is helping people do holistic high performance, do the journey well. So whatever wealth, whatever influence, whatever position you create, whatever business you create, it's able to make the positive impact in the world, the contribution. We got one planet. We're one people. We need to be a global team of champions. And so I'll give you one of my secrets here, Brian, one of my success secrets. I don't have any competitors. I use the word competition. I might say the word competitive, but everyone is on my team. I didn't know this. I had to learn this. And what ends up happening is if you compete with someone, eventually there's someone bigger, better, stronger, whatever. You get older, there's a change in the marketplace, technology, something happens. Look at the video company. What was the big? I can't even think of the name right now. It's crazy. Blockbuster. Look at all these companies who were dominating the marketplace, and then one shift, and they're out of business.
Yep.
It's incredible. Atari. Look at all these. It's crazy. So that's the future that's waiting. Apple puts themselves out of business before anyone else can. They're constantly reading some of their products. You go, I like the old version. And then the new version, the third generation. Oh, that's the one. But they're constantly putting themselves out of business as part of their strategy before the competitor can. So what I learned was, I'm not competing with anyone. I want to be a champion. And the only way I can be a champion is to put myself in an environment with other champions. I need a contest. I need some place I can test my theory, my systems. That's the marketplace. Yeah. I'm testing it. Who cares what I want to produce? The marketplace tells you what they're going to buy. You get stuck on what you want to do, you're going broke.
Bye-bye. Yep.
So you got to listen to the market. So sport is the same. You got to get that feedback, and then you have to adapt to utilize that information for the next part of your strategy. So all the people that are in the competition or the contest are people who are helping me test my theory. They're on my team. So there's no intimidation. There's no jealousy. I want to be a champion. I need other champions. So I respect and appreciate you coming to me with all your practice and skills and knowledge. I don't need you to be a chump. I want you to be better than me.
There you go.
Because it's not the best team that wins. It's the team that plays the best on the day. We see it all the time. We think if it was the best team, the biggest, strongest, the team on paper, you just write it off. And no, it's a team in this moment who can create the best performance. So it doesn't intimidate me that you're better than me. I want you to be better than me, because then you're going to help me see this reality now in a different way through this contest. And I'm going to grow. I'm going to be better from this experience, whether I get the prize or not. And because I don't have competition mindset, I have growth mindset. And that's part of my system as well. Shifting from competition mindset, comparison, scarcity driven, to abundance, growth mindset. There's no way for you to have an advantage over me, because I'm either going to prove my system's worth, get the prize, or I'm going to see where my systems can take improvement, grow, and then get the prize next time. Either way, I'm winning. So Thank you. It's just growth
reminds
mindset.
me reminds me growing up, I used to love playing basketball, and I remember I forgot who told me this, but they said, I'd always play with one other person, and I loved it when that other person wasn't as good as me because I got to win all the time. And then another person gave me some incredible advice I've never forgotten. He said, "You don't want to play with those. You want to play with somebody better than you." I said, "Why? That doesn't sound like fun." It's because that's the only time you're going to improve. Like, I've never forgotten that. And then to put it in a team aspect, when you have somebody like that on your team, they're there helping to lift you up to excel along with them to make the team as a whole better. So when you do it as a unified team, it's even more powerful. So all of this is resonating greatly. So we talked about a lot of things here, Steve, and it's you can't believe this, but we are past our time, which doesn't matter.
Oh, wow.
I don't pay for studio time. I like to respect everyone's time. Most people know we have an hour show. We have a little bit more to go for everyone watching. And if you're listening on podcast, you can see where your player is at the moment as you're listening. And if you are, by the way, go to themindbodybusinessshow.com, themindbodybusinessshow.com. Write that down and register by clicking on any of the buttons. And all we do is we announce the next time we go live. You can join us here live, comment, interact, ask questions, and we'll give you shout outs and all that good stuff. And also don't forget to pick up a brand new copy just released. My very first book ever. It took me over 10 years to finish this bad boy. It is really the reason this show exists. I started this long before the show. Of course, it's called Mind Body Business. And it's out now. It's at mindbodybusinessbook.com. You can get it at Amazon and what was the other one? I forget. There's two of them. Either one. Doesn't matter. Mindbodybusinessbook.com. And there are two gifts we want to give you. I hope, Steve, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I think you had one about a 4-week performance course. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah. So this is the Champions Map.
Okay.
This is the Champions Map. And so the Champions Map is a holistic high performance system or process. And it literally is creating a timeline of outcome and key results. It's underpinned by legacy, and it looks at harmonizing 11 different areas of life. So finance is one, career is one, there's 9 others. And like I said, you can't get things in balance, but you can get life in harmony. So you invest in areas of your life strategically so that when you need to be narrow focused on performance, on the task at hand, these other areas of life give you permission to do that, instead of what usually happens is when you need to be narrow focused and you can't give your family or these other areas, part of your attention, that's when they demand the most of you or when something goes wrong. So it really is about getting all these areas in harmony. It's not just this, esoteric thing. This is literally data driven. It's a whole process to harmonize your performance, to get holistic high performance. And there's a 4-week course that I want to be able to give one person.
Ooh.
That's literally one-on-one, 4 sessions, one-on-one to do the Champions Map.
Holy smokes. What do you normally charge for that, if I may ask?
For this particular price, $2,500. It's,
people. Okay. So how does one reach out to you to say, hey, I watched the Mind Body Business Show. I would like to be considered for the 4-week peak performance course that you're giving away?
So as I said before, reach out to me through that email that you posted. Yep, there we go, steveranson.gold@gmail.com. And in the subject line, put Mind Body Business Champions Map.
Ooh,
so either one of those, Champions Map, Mind Body Business, put them together, and then I'll know, I'll be able to separate it that way. And what I'll do is I'll leave this for a couple of weeks. I'll reply to everybody, leave this for a couple of weeks, and then I'll literally do a draw. And that person I'll, reach out to, and we'll do the Champions Map.
Well, thank you so very much for that very generous offer. I mean, $2,500 and 4 sessions with a man of your caliber, that is worth far more than any dollar amount could be put to, because it's his time. And guess what? It's your time as well. So treat it with great value, because it deserves great value. If you are the winner, then go there expecting that you act like you paid $2,500, act like you paid $5,000, because when you have skin in the game, you get more out of it. And just be very professional, very respectful, and get it done. Go to Steve and he will take you through it, and you'll come out on the other end a better person. I guarantee it. So it's steveanderson.gold@gmail.com. steveanderson.gold@gmail.com. Put in Mind Body Business Champion Map. Is that right? Or Map
Champions with an S. Yeah, Champions Map.
Not Champions, Champions Map.
That'll be the jump.
And we have one more giveaway. For those of you that hung with us live all the way to the end, you can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, compliments of Reach Your Peak. And I'm telling you, it's not just this, they're not going to take you and whisk you down to the basement and strap you in a chair and water drip torture you into buying a timeshare. It won't be anything like that. No, it's a bona fide trip where you get to enjoy the entire resort just as if you were a full paying customer. In fact, the hotel, they know no different. They know that you're a guest. You get treated. I know this because a good buddy of mine won this and did it actually more than once. He did it twice. And so I'm going to be revealing how you can enter to win in just a moment because, Steve, you're in for a doozy. This is going to be fun.
Okay.
I love to end every show with a specific question. And it started out kind of by chance. I would ask it on occasion back 4.5 years ago when I was doing the show in the early days. And I started realizing and noticing the answers. They were pretty profound. I'm like, man, that was amazing. And then I'd do it again later, some point, how many shows later? Holy smokes. So I decided I'm going to close every show out with that one question. And to that end, a quick hint for you is I am putting together another book. It's going to be a collaborative book, not this one, but it's going to be a collaborative book that the title will be the question itself, and all of the answers will be in there. So I say that to let you know that if your answer is like 2 words long, it's going to be a very short chapter, just saying. So, and I would hope that you could grace the book with a page or 2. That would be fine. And you'd be surprised. It takes very few words to make a page or 2. I've seen the transcripts of this show. And so with that, it's a phenomenal question. And we're going to actually give the prize away first. And I'm going to come back to this very profound question because I want people to write this down. Do not go to the website and enter to win now. Write it down and wait till you hear Steve's answer to this question. We'll be around. People will be monitoring. You can give it 5-10 minutes after we go off the air. We will see it. So here we go with that. I'm going to put it up on the screen. You want to go to ryp.im/vacation. Write that down, all lowercase. RYP stands for Reach Your Peak. .im/vacation. And go there after we sign off in just a few moments from now and enter to win. And just a little quick hint, Steve, I know you're in Japan now. This is predominantly for people in the main the US and Canada, but I'm sure you have citizenship and all that. What I'm trying to say is guest speakers are allowed to enter too. So I hope you wrote that down as well.
Yes. I didn't write it down, but that was my question is how did I get in on this?
ryp.im/vacation. Ask me later after the show. I have had guest speakers win. It's a random draw, just like yours. It's going to be phenomenal. Wow. I love it. I have a great time with it. So with all that buildup about this question, so Steve, I want you to know there are 2 amazing things about this question I'm about to ask you to close out this incredible show with you. And that is, number 1, there is no such thing as a wrong answer.
Okay.
In fact, because it's not a test, it's not a quiz. And the other great thing about it is the exact opposite is the case, is that the only correct answer will be yours. It's going to be unique to you. And on that same note, if it takes you a microsecond to come up with the answer, or if it takes you a multitude of seconds, guess what? It's still perfect because it's your answer. And so with that wonderful buildup, are you ready to close out this amazing show with this amazing question?
Before you ask the question, I just want to give a shout out to Dr. Valerie Frank for making the introduction to you for this show, because, you can't take your blessings for granted. And, people are blessings.
Yes.
So, and I'm so happy to meet you, Brian, and I'm looking forward to relationship.
Right back at you. I mean, the moment you came on camera and we were talking behind stage, I was like, "Whoa, this guy is something else." I love you. I love you as a brother. Yeah, and thank you. We might have been separated at birth too. We're so close at age. Anyway, right. Here we go. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Steve Anderson, how do you define success?
Wow, man, you are all in my life journey here. So, I define success as having achievement with fulfillment, and this is one of the key parts of what I do is the difference between achievement and success. Achievement is when you do something that you set out to do, and it really hurt me to discover that you don't even have to be a nice, loving person to have lots of achievement. When I was a kid, I thought you did, and it really hurt me in my heart to realize that it's mechanical. People can create achievement, but success, you have to have fulfillment in your life. And so I ask people this question. I say, if you achieved 100% of your goals, but it cost you the other areas of your life that you care about, your health, your family, your integrity, the things that are important to you, would you call that success? I've asked this to hundreds of people. Not one person has said that they call 100% achievement at the cost of the other things they care about success. And then I ask, if you achieved 50% of your goals, but it enhanced all the other areas of your life, your health, your relationships, who you are as a person, the contribution you make to the world. If 50% of your goals you achieved and it enhanced every other aspect of your life, would you call that success? And every person says yes. So that's the question I'm asking you, and it's literally how I define success. Success is having achieved your goals that you set, not 100%. And actually, if you look at anything that's supported by data, 50% success, 500 as a hitter in baseball, you're past the Hall of Fame. It's incredible. Most of us don't achieve 50% of the things that we set out to do. So that's a huge number, even though it doesn't sound like it. Achieving your goals and having that performance or having those actions improve you, help you grow as a person, improve the quality of living. That's what I call success. It's total high performance in all the areas of your life, which includes falling down and getting up. It's not about perfection, being without flaw. It's about perfect, whole and complete. Perfect is whole and complete, not without flaw. So that's my definition of success: achievement with fulfillment.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The incomparable, the one and only Steve Anderson. That was amazing. You're amazing, my friend. And I want to just close this show by telling everyone to please, once this show's over, please do just two things. Not for me, but for yourself and for those around you. Number one would be to go out and crush it in your business. Why? So you can grow and scale and serve and help more people. Not just to make more money so you can scale. Yes, make more money. Yes, enjoy your life. Yes, buy things you want to have, but also please put it back in and scale your business. And number two, above all else, and that is to a person, everyone, please be blessed. That is it for us on behalf of the amazing Steve Anderson. I'm your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. We will see you all again next time. Until then, go out there and crush it, everyone. Take care and bye-bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.